So we are talking today with an author named Matthew Kenslow. He is an author and he is on the autism spectrum. And he actually has written 2 books now. So the first interview was back in September of 2022. And his book then was called Juggling the Issues. And he kind of talked about what it's like to live with autism. And he talked a little bit about how he's never given up. Well, the second book that I interviewed him about this time is called Unstoppable, how one person with autism is never giving up his lifelong dream to become a teacher and a worldwide influencer. And this young man has done just that. So we're going to hear from Matthew, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how you can purchase those books.
Well, my new book is called Unstoppable. Unstoppable, how one person with autism is never giving up on his lifelong dream to become a teacher and worldwide influencer. And the inspiration behind it is that when I was at the end of my student teaching in late 2022, I was just reflecting on everything that I went through the credential program and student teaching and how I survived it. And I thought that my story might be encouraging to aspiring teachers and how I took this program on with autism. And so there were some tough times throughout it. So my inspiration was encouragement.
Yeah. And Matthew, talk a little bit about your, right now you're a substitute teacher. What is that like for you right now?
It's amazing. I love being a substitute teacher. I'm currently a sub in Newport Mesa Unified, and I sub between elementary school to high school.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when you have this autism diagnosis, you know, it's something that just is a uniqueness for you. And I know we talked about that before. Talk a little bit about how you carry this into your days as a substitute teacher when you're really influencing these young people who, during a time that their lives are, you know, they may not know what they want to do. They may not know how to react to certain things. Talk a little bit about how you go about your daily life to influence them.
I find many opportunities to express that, yes, I do have a disability, but I'm not letting it stop me. Some classes I get to express that a little bit more than others. And overall, I get to encourage students, like nearly every time that I sub, that everyone does have a purpose. If there's mistakes in life, if things drop, just pick it back up and keep going. And I usually do that during my juggling analogies. So if they're good all day, I get to juggle for them. And when I juggle, I drop one on purpose and say, okay, what do you do if you make a mistake? Do you give up? No, just bend down, pick it up, keep going.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think they take those kind of messages? I think it's nice from a teacher perspective when the kids are seeing you have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, sometimes I usually hear like that was inspiring, and I hear that from students and staff also in the room.
Okay, let's talk about the message you would like to get across. You're continuing to influence people of all ages, especially the fact that you were diagnosed with autism and you've really never let that hold you back. What kind of message do you have to anyone growing up on the autism spectrum, or that maybe they have that student in class, their classmate or a friend of a family that is also with a diagnosis?
Well, my number one encouragement to keep it concise is disability or not, anybody can do whatever they set their heart and mind to do. In fact, I view a disability as a different ability rather to live life. And my encouragement is don't let the limitations stop you. Sometimes you have to learn to go through things rather than around things. That may take time, but just believe in yourself. If it's truly your passion, follow through with that passion.
A great message there from Matthew Kenslow. He's in his late 20s, diagnosed as a 6-year-old with Asperger's syndrome, which is now part of the autism spectrum, and they don't typically say Asperger's anymore. Now, a 2-time author. I'm going to take you over to Amazon, where you can see this is the most recent book that he was talking about, Unstoppable, and he never let that diagnosis of autism stop him from achieving anything in life, and he just wants to spread the word that you can do whatever you set your mind to, no matter the disability that has been given to you as a title because that disability does not define you. And then the last book he wrote, his first book that I talked to him in September of 2022 about, juggling the issues living with Asperger's syndrome. And he kind of shares symptoms such as social and conversational skills that can be lacking, poor eye contact with others. And over on WSAZ.com on the Journey Through Parenthood tab, you can find my interview with him from September of 22, where he kind of went into more detail about some of the things that are unique to people with an autism diagnosis that doesn't really define them. And that's something that Matthew has never let, get in his way of achieving his goals. He's a substitute teacher. He is typically referred to as the best sub out there in these schools. So it's always nice to hear from Matthew. And he reached out to me after we had done that last interview because we did that. And he wanted to let me know he has this new book. And I wanted to share it with you just because someone who maybe have a child on the autism spectrum or a friend, maybe their child's peers have autism. It's just kind of nice to kind of see what these kids go through, and then you can maybe relate to them on a different level that Matthew shares with everyone. Well, here on Journey Through Parenthood, you can always reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to reach out to me and send me a story idea, always feel free, never hesitate, and we can maybe show that story here on the WSAZ Now Desk. We're here every Monday and Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.